Rodney, I mean, his workload, amped up a little bit.
Yeah.
And he produced.
Yeah.
What was behind all that?
Well, Rodney got hot. He got hot. He was producing. That's the way it works. There's been some things we've made some decisions based on a lot of parameters and one game Sebo got hot against Wake Forest and some games we weren't very productive for whatever reason. But he got the hot hand in that game, and that's kind of what we do. When a guy gets the hot hand, we ride him. And he had a heck of a game. And
was he struggling a little bit early with an injury?
He was nicked up a little bit. He got nicked up in the game. He got nicked up
game?
He got nicked up a little bit, and we had a timeout, and I said, "You okay?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm good." And then we broke the huddle. He goes, "Hey, put the Sebo in." So that position, man. You get hit and get contorted all kinds of ways, and you want a guy that feels good. And so yeah, he's been nicked up a little bit, but I'm proud of him. He's hung in there, and he took advantage of his opportunities. Earlier in the year, Sebo took advantage of his opportunities. There was a time where Daniel took advantage of his. So those guys, we have not been productive as we have in the past. We realize that, and that's that could be contributed to a lot of things. But it is what it is, and he had a good game. I'm proud of him.
What's the biggest factor that you're proud of Rodney, especially with all the changes you guys had on the offensive line? That impacts every single.
No doubt. So what was the question?
What's the biggest thing you're proud of how he's fought you guys?
Anybody, when things don't go their way, it's easy to say, let's, chunk in the towel. But those guys in my room have hung in there. They've performed well. They've known the game plan. They've been positive. They've had good energy. And that's hard in this day and age with young kids when things don't go your way, And so I'm proud of all those guys for that.
If you had more games this season where maybe you had a little bit more of a cushion, a little bit more of a lead, would you have liked to get the opportunity to maybe see what Derek could do for you, or maybe some of the freshmen a little bit more than you did?
Yeah, that's always to see those guys play. You get better by playing. So yeah, it would have been good. I think Derek's a talented guy. He's going to help us. He's getting better. Wiz is a talented guy, and so we got talented guys in our room. And when we get that full capacity across the board on offense, it's going to look different.
You've been around as long as anybody with Pat, seeing through this, and this is a unique situation you guys are in. How have you seen your offensive guys endure and stay focused despite the adversities?
Well, it's been hard. It's been hard. So, we've had to come with energy every day. I don't like losing either. And I don't like losing back-to-back games or getting on a losing streak. So, Pat sets the tempo. When we get in front of our guys, we gotta teach and coach with energy, and we got to make sure when we install the game plan, we install it with some confidence, and that's been the course we've been on.
How hard is it, in your experience with guys to keep focused and keep positive in a situation?
Well, it's hard. You got to have experience to do things, and I have not experienced what we went through this year very often. It's been a long time. Mm-hmm. I had hair and abs the last time I experienced this. So you just keep grinding. As a player and as a coach that sometimes things don't go your way, and we're always telling our kids to endure and keep going, and so we got to do the same thing as coaches.
With skill guys though, running backs, receivers, even tight ends, in a year when the offense is taking a lot of criticism, struggling to score, it's easy for guys in those positions to be like, man, if I just got the ball more, we would do better. How do you kind of combat against that? Have you how do you sort of make sure that doesn't become a
you just control what you can control, and we watch tape, we teach, we see what the issues are, we try to fix them. You just coach, and you try not to get bogged out in all the negatives. There's plenty of negatives, and even when things are going good, there's plenty of things to complain about. When we had Izzy last year, it was hard to keep them guys happy because they weren't getting to play as much. The year before when Whipple was here, we were throwing the ball a lot. Those guys want to run the ball, but you just got to hate it. The main deal is getting that W. We're a team. You're going to get your opportunity. When you get your opportunities, you got to make the best of them.
Does that speak to the maturity of your guys that they've gone through all of that, and you haven't seen the putting their head down and not focusing as much because of that?
Yeah, I think it's maturity, and it's just the culture here. Yeah.
What can you do this offseason to maybe try to work toward more consistency in the punting game this year?
Oh, well, we've done some things a lot better. A lot better. We've made some strides there. The good news is, Junko's a first-year punter. Anytime you get a first-year starter, there's things that you have to go through. And there's been some games, man, we've been pretty daggum good, and some games we have not. But we got the punter and the snapper back. We got a lot of young guys that are back. And let me ask you a question. What's the most important element of the passing game? Let me help you. The passer. What's the most important element of the running game? The runner. So what's the most important element of the punt game? The punter. So we just got to continue him down a path where he just matures and gets more reps under his belt, and I think we'll be okay. And we've done a good job. Had the same kickoff. We've been good, same guys. But just the punt game is hard, man. I mean, it's hard. Again, we've done some things a lot better. The communication, the protection's been a lot better. But we've broken down twice in the coverage aspect, and some of those have been maturity out there at the perimeter. We got young guys out on the perimeter covering. Some of it's been the punt. Sometimes the punt is connected to the snap. So there's a lot of things that you have to consider there, but I think we're on the right track with what we're doing.